Who do you think won, Volkanovski or Holloway?
Okay, so I think Max Holloway won the fight. I do. Um, I watched the first 2 rounds and I thought, wow, he's got it. He's fighting beautifully. After the third round, I'm watching with my cousin, Tiago Duran, and Ian. And we're all Max Holloway guys, right? And I'm watching the third round and I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. And I was like, it's so close. And I knew that if the fight continued to go in the direction that it was going, because Volkanovski seemed to be building a little bit, I was like, man, that third round scares me, especially once we got to the fourth and fifth. They all thought Max won the third and the fifth. The guys in the house. I didn't agree with that. I thought I thought Max lost the fourth and fifth round pretty clearly, but it all came down to the third. But I did think he had done enough to win the third round and get the belt back. But hats off to Volkanovski, man, for adjusting. He was getting pieced up early in that fight, and he made some phenomenal adjustments to defend his title.
First 2 rounds, Max looked phenomenal, right? I mean, he just looked on point. It looked like he had figured everything out, that he was back and all that stuff. Just for the record, all 3 judges scored the first 4 rounds the exact same. 1-2 to Max, 3-4 to Volkanovski. 2 judges had it round 5 for Volkanovski. 1 had it round 5 for Max.
Oh, I thought it came down to round 3. It was round 5. So it switched on both. See, yeah. I thought... So wait. Everybody scored 3-4 for Volkanovski, and one person scored 5 for Max?
Correct.
I didn't know that. I thought the fifth round was more clear in the Volkanovski direction than the third round.
See, I disagree. I thought 1-2 clear for Max, 3-4 for Volkanovski, though 3 was really close, and then 5 for Max. I thought Max won 1-2-5. Yeah.
Well, because when you and I talked right after the fight before the decision was read, I was like, did he lose? Because I was so confused. I was hoping Max had won. I was like, I think he might have lost. And you said, you think he lost? And I was like,
I thought it was pretty clear that he won.
I thought he won the fight, but
DC, everyone's killing me because I said this is not a robbery. I don't know why we're so hung up on this word. What this is a really close competitive fight. If it comes down to 1 round, right? If it comes down to 1 round, that's not a robbery. A robbery is when it was like 3-0 for a guy and they give it to the other guy, or if it's 4-1 and they give it to the other person. And at the end of the day, I am saying Max Holloway won the fight. I think we all agree. I don't know many people who picked it for Volkanovski. All I'm saying is when it's close and you're using the 10-point must system, which is always very subjective and sometimes doesn't get it right, just as Dominic Reyes, right, a couple of months ago against John Jones, you're going to have situations like this, and you're going to continue to have situations like this. I just think that when it's so close, it's not a quote-unquote robbery. And if you don't like the use of that term, fine. I just couldn't believe, DC, I don't know if I've ever got more hate, ever, than me saying that wasn't a robbery. I have gotten some nasty stuff.
Because Max is the nicest
and I love him too.
Guy in the world. I love Max. Like, it was hard to see that decision go in the wrong direction, if you ask me. It was so close, though. It was such a close fight. I don't know how Volkanovski adjusted on the fly like that. It seemed as though he went in there. I remember saying after the second round, I was like, this dude went in there with the same exact game plan to try to kick the legs, and Holloway wasn't having it this time. But then midway, he just kind of changed. It changed, right? It changed. And even think about this. The fact that you and I thought the scoring, right, was so different, right? I thought 5 was for the guy, and I thought 3 was the one that was the issue. For the judges, 5 was the issue, right? So it's like when people are thinking, and I'm trying, like that's the thing, because I'm such a Max Holloway guy. I'm trying to be as objective as I can with the scoring. So I'm almost judging on the side of the other guy with the hope that Max does enough to make it clear, because I want him to win so badly. So when it was so close, it did make me worried, especially with the way that the judging and the officiating kind of was on Saturday night back in Abu Dhabi.
And then the tough part for Max is it's not like that was the first fight and you say, oh, just run it back. You can't really run it back now, right? Are they really going to go a third time? It's so crazy. These guys have fought for 50 minutes, 10 rounds, and I still feel like they're like an inch apart. You know what I mean?
It's so close. It's so close because Alexander has just been, lucky enough to do just enough to get past him. Everybody talked like the first fight was so much of a blowout, but it wasn't. It really wasn't, because it was 48-47, I think, across the board. And it was because in round one, when nobody essentially did anything, the judges scored it for Volkanovski. 2 and 3, Volkanovski won. Holloway won 4 and 5. It all came down to a round again in the first fight. So these guys are as evenly matched as anyone in the world. Any two guys fighting for a championship are going to be. Just sucks because I don't know what now for Maxie.
You see, here's the thing. Max's stock, we talked about this in the main event. Max's stock goes so much higher right now than Volkanovski. Because everyone feels for him, right? He's the king without a crown, uncrowned champ, handled it like a pro. I mean, an hour later, he goes on Twitter and he's doing an auction for unemployment in Hawaii. Like, the guy's just
man, bro. You've never met nobody. You've honestly never met nobody like Max Holloway. I've met a lot of people in my life, and I've never met anybody like this kid.
Yeah.
He's the most genuinely nice person that you ever meet.
So I don't think he's in that tough a spot. I still feel like he's a draw. If anything, I feel for Volkanovski now, because like I feel like no one wants him to be champion. Everyone's hating on the guy. They feel like he did something wrong. Like, he just fought his fight and the judges gave it to him, but everyone hates him because they gave it to him. He's in a tough spot, in my opinion.
He's in a bit of a tough spot. For Holloway, though, it's like he can still beat just about everybody else, and he'll go and he'll smash a couple dudes, and they'll have to find ways to deal with him in a title fight. You know, it's just crazy because just last year, Max was fighting for the interim championship and a chance to become a 2-division champion.
Yeah.
You know, it's so crazy how fast things change in mixed martial arts.
He'll get another chance. I mean, there's a lot of talk of, okay, there's Korean Zombie and maybe Brian Ortega next, Zabit against Yair. One of those guys will emerge. And by the way, 3 of those 4 guys haven't fought Max yet. So if one of those guys beats Volkanovski, he's still a player. I don't think he should move up to 155, though.
No,
do you agree?
No, stay 145. That's his weight division. And when you got guys like Zabit and the Korean Zombie waiting in the wings, you know, no champion should feel very secure,
right?
Because those guys are so good. So you got to know and hope that there's going to be some changeover in that division. So just kind of stay the course.
Do you have any interest in Henry Cejudo versus Volkanovski?
Not really. That's not one that interests me too much. I don't see what that would do for Alex. I know what it could do for Henry, but it's not one that I'm not too interested in, honestly.
I think there's no chance the UFC entertains this. It's like the GSP situation. They don't want to invest in a guy who's just looking to collect belts, right? They don't want to invest in a guy and give him a title shot and he wins the belt and then he walks away. Like, Henry at this point is kind of a mini GSP in the sense that, like, he wants to make history and do this stuff. And that's cool. You can want to do that, but why put him in a title fight if he's going to win the belt and then walk away? Right. So I can't really sit there.
I can't really sit there and talk about these.
No, yours is different. You've put in the time. I mean, you're very clear about, hey, this is what I want. Like, Henry's not coming out and saying that. And what pissed off the UFC regarding GSP is that he didn't come out and say that. Remember, with GSP Bisping, they put something in his contract that said they wanted him to fight Whitaker next. He got sick, so it was a little different in the end. But the point is, it's the same reason they don't want to do GSP Khabib, right? Because they don't want GSP to beat Khabib, and then he walks away. Now you can't make money off the guy who just beat Khabib.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.